once again were outplayed.
But it was a good game, though, man. It was
real good game.
It was such a good game. It wasn't like it was just it was like a lopsided game. It was so good, back and forward.
Yeah,
tie scores, back and forward, and it was such a good game.
It was such a good game. So in a tradition of great Super Bowls.
I do feel like right before the half, though, if they had called that a catch by Devontae Smith, like the difference between going into the locker room with all that momentum, being up 14 as opposed to 10. And settling for a field goal, it could have been.
Was it a catch, Key?
But see, the difference is, Jay, this is not a regular season game because of the 30-minute, the halftime, however long that whole deal's put together. That momentum that you would have doesn't really matter because you're sitting around now for 35 minutes. So it becomes like a moot point at that position.
I want to get into the Bradbury thing at the end of the game, but. First, was that a catch by Devontae Smith?
In real live action, as soon as it happened, I said, "Oh, he dropped that." The body position and the way his hands kind of dropped down, you could kind of see, oh, that ball slipping out. You could see it, and then he rolls over on his shoulder. So at that point, I'm like, well, maybe he'll block out the view of the referees, and they won't really get a full view of it, but for some reason they was able to see whatever that it was that made them overturn it.
I mean, I'm like everyone else. What the hell is a catch nowadays? The Goddard thing that wasn't overturned, I thought that was a catch. Then I looked again. The scoop and score when Miles Sanders fumbled, I thought that was clearly a catch. He caught it, he made a move, then he got hit and it popped out. No, he didn't need to take 15 steps before you got to
make about 3 moves. Football moves.
Right, but think about that for a second.
It can't be a bang bang.
But
it can't be a bang-bang.
Was there
he had made a move.
The only way the refs can call that against a catch on Devontae Smith was there overwhelming evidence that wasn't a catch?
Like, maybe not to us, but to them maybe it was overwhelming.
Or it was decisive. In other words, it was super close but decisive. And I get it, Key. They're not going to call that a catch on Miles Sanders. But to me, I don't know why. To me, that looked like a
he didn't get a chance. He never got a chance to really protect himself. Yeah, right? He catches the ball. As soon as he catches it,
he moves,
turns,
takes a step.
And once boom, if he would have took 2 steps and did something like that, then it's a fumble, scoop and score.
I get what the rules are, but I know what a catch looks like, and that was a catch.
Now, how the hell do you know what a catch looks like?
Well, just because I can't do it, Key, that doesn't mean I don't know what it looks like. Listen, was the real big play of the game, of course, was the Bradbury play. James Bradbury, corner, who they acquired from the Giants. The Giants had to let him go because of cap reasons. He goes with Slay and forms one of the better corner tandems in the NFL, right? Had a really good year. And at the end of the game, under 2 minutes left, commits a penalty, which seemed ticky-tack. We discussed this in the first segment, but was called a holding penalty. He was asked after the game about it. This is what he said.
I mean, that's not up for my judgment. I was hoping he would let it go, but of course, he's a ref. It's a big game, and it was a holding, so they called it.
So he admitted to the holding, and people jumped on that, Key. I don't think he was aware how controversial it was at that moment he was asked. I wonder if he would have said it out loud. But he did. He said it was holding. It seemed like a big moment to call that on Bradbury, and you said in the previous segment it didn't really affect the play.
Okay. What happens is all okay. So the way it looks, Jay, is it Juju's faking a shallow cross. He comes out of it. He slows him down from coming out of it. Right. That's not the initial call right there on the back end where he grabs the waist. Mm-hmm. When he tries to pivot out of it, right there. That's the hold. But what happens with a guy like Juju is he can't stop on a dime and give change, and he doesn't have sudden quickness in and out of his break. So it looks like, to the referee's eyes, it slowed him down.
That's interesting.
It's almost like a Shaq thing in basketball, LeBron thing in basketball. He's fouled, but it doesn't affect his ability, so they don't call it. In this situation, because of Juju's style,
that's interesting.
They look at it and they go, well, no, that didn't really. If that would have happened, Juju wouldn't have came out of it and caught up to that pass anyway, even if he didn't touch him.
That's what I was going to ask you on the back end. Wasn't that an uncatchable ball?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
doesn't the ball have to be catchable? Like a
Juju
like
wouldn't
What
have
Key
caught
is
up
saying
to
is
that.
it pays to be sorry sometimes, is what Key is saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying his style is not in and out of the break with sudden quickness.
Like Tyreek Hill would be different.
Tyreek Hill would have came out of that and caught up to that pass. Juju, regardless, if they would have let him just run down the field by himself without even touching him, he probably wouldn't have caught up to the pass. The refs aren't looking at it being uncatchable. Because the flag happened
early
at the point of attack right there.
Right, listen,
it didn't happen down the field.
People want to weigh in on this. Let's start before we get to the calls with Nick Sirianni, Eagles head coach, on the PI call against James Bradberry. Under 2 minutes left, effectively ended the game.
It's not my job to, I mean, you'll see me on the sideline. I'm going to argue with different things of calls here and there, but it's not my job to make the call. Those guys got to do that in split second, scenarios. And so, that's what he saw, and he called it. And so that's never it. I know it always appears to be that, it's one call that makes the. It's not what it is, right? It's not what it is. There's so many plays that contribute to the end result of the game, and today they were better than we were. The
Eagles taking the high road, Bradberry and coach both taking the high road, and maybe they lose that game anyway. But once that call is made, the odds of them winning are close. They need a miracle to win. Was that the right call, Chris, in Los Angeles?
Hey guys, for having me on. Just want to first say love the show. You guys got to lay off my boy Max. I call him the accountant. He be speaking facts, so we just got to give him some props for that.
That's
but
right, we sure do.
On the game, it was a close nip-tuck game, and I don't think you let a call like that kind of sway the odds in that way. The Eagles most likely still weren't going to finish the drive and win the game, I think. But I don't think you let the game be dictated in that way with that kind of call.
Right. Anthony in in Orlando.
They're awesome, by the way. I love you guys. But here, check it out. The refs need like that. You know, like in the last 2 minutes, you have the ability to, for the NFL to review the plays. They need that for the officials because this was ticky-tack. That is not how you want to end the game. Everybody was disappointed.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with that.
I'm a personal believer of if it's not egregious, then you don't call it. Let the players determine the end of the game. But, these are the things that kind of frustrate me sometimes about end-of-game scenarios as a ticky-tack kind of penalty. You make that call. I'd rather the players finish it out on their terms.
By the way, another Super Bowl MVP for Patrick Mahomes. That makes 2 in 5 years as a starter to go with 2 regular season MVPs. Now, you feel like you've been cheated out of the Super Bowl? Too bad there's not a lot to talk about this morning, guys.
Mornings.
Good morning. Good morning.
You guys look refreshed. You must have went to bed really early.
Man, yeah. I saw the Riri halftime. The whole time I'm thinking about tweeting. I feel like she's pregnant. I'm not sure. I'm not going to tweet it. Nope. Not going to be the one. Not going to catch me. And it was confirmed.
Because there wasn't a lot of movement.
It wasn't a lot. But, not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Not
Boy,
me.
she's got a lot of hits, doesn't she? When she starts going through the catalog, that's a winner. That's a winner.
Wasn't a lot of movement.
It's one of the dopest halftime performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good halftime performance.
All right. Yeah.
It was not bad. I couldn't.
You weren't on it?
No, I was. I mean, I was watching it, but I would. You're trying to watch it and people talking, and it's like a whole thing.
Because you got a party. That's why you got to watch it from the couch at the crib.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We had a good time. So, watched the game, had a good time, got a chance to see the Eagles almost win, and the Chiefs pull off a miracle, so to speak, comeback. A lot of smart things happened in that football game, including the slide down right before the field goal. That was impressive. The mindset to know, okay, let me not try to be a hero, because they actually tried to let him score. But he was like, nah, we're not getting ready to do this.
I wonder how much higher the win percentage in that situation is if you don't score, if you do. Because if you punch it in and you wind up 7, then they got to score a touchdown, and to win, they got to go for the extra point. And if not, or the 2-point conversion, and even to tie, the odds are not I wonder if the odds are over 50-50
we're not even doing
they
that,
drive
though.
down the
Didn't
field.
that happen to Nick
We're not
Chubb
even
earlier this
doing
year?
that
Remember
to
Nick
even
Chubb
get to that
scored a
point.
touchdown and came back and won? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
we don't even need that.
What I'm saying is a lot of the stuff that people complain about, you don't know the outcome. Well, it's a heads-up play. I guess.
Nah.
I guess it
No, you
is.
gotta make a strategic play.
Super
No, I know it's what you're
Super
supposed
strategic.
to do. I just wonder how much higher your chances of winning are in that moment by doing
We could
that.
play that game in the regular season, not in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
You know what
Yeah, but you still, well, that's right. With 8 seconds left, the odds are extremely low you're going to score. How did a hobble